So, what do you want to talk about? WrestleMania 40? So do I. So, today's episode, like I stated in the intro, talking about WrestleMania 40. But before we do that, I want to kind of show you around here. We got, the stage set for this whole show, which is going to be breaking down WWE, mostly pay-per-views, so I'll be avoiding Raw and SmackDown unless something interesting actually happens, which happens more often than not, so be prepared for there to be at least the more interesting parts, if I find anything interesting in any of the Raws or SmackDowns I want to talk about, which can happen pretty often, like I said before. So be prepared for that. But anyway, let's talk about what we got here, my figures, my wrestling figures. A lot of these were gifted to me from somebody else, one of my mom's friends. So, not all of them, but some of them. For instance, Mankind, Kurt Angle, Kane, Matt Hardy, Undertaker, Goldberg, and Andre were gifted to me. But Triple H, I bought myself one day randomly. John Cena and Batista I bought as a pack. I still can't find the spinner belt. Very sad. Wish I could find it. It's somewhere. And so CM Punk I bought at a flea market. I was split between taking it out of the box because it was the limited edition. I don't like AEW, but at the time he was still in AEW. It was an AEW limited edition CM Punk, and I felt bad for more than one reason because I didn't want to, just ruin what this guy had been preserving. Not that it probably hadn't been that long because CM Punk wasn't in AEW for too long, since like 2020. So he probably had it for like maybe a year at most. But I don't really think he's going to care because he sold it to me. He got money out of it. That's what he cares about. But as somebody who likes to preserve things too, I have a Star Trek figure that I'm still preserving. I should probably move that to my bedroom. But anyway, that's different. But yeah, the CM Punk figure, I ended up taking it out because I gave in to wanting to take it out of the package. So yeah, that's pretty cool. If I remember correctly, I don't remember. A ladder might have come with the John Cena and Batista one. I also might be losing my you-know-what. I'm going to stop myself from saying anything remotely close to a swear word. I should warn you guys now that I do tend to swear, so I'll be bleeping those out anytime I do, but I will be trying to reserve my swearing as much as possible. Anyway, now that we've shown off all the figures, I guess it's Triple H came with this tank top sort of thing. It's kind of a different style of tank top that wrestlers do. He's got his sledgehammer, very iconic Triple H sledgehammer. So, what is like the premise? What am I going to really be doing with this show, other than breaking down WWE pay-per-views and interesting things that are happening in the wrestling world? Well, I'll be making fun of and talking trash about a lot of different things and stuff like that, but, because it's funny. It's fun to make fun of really bad decisions made by, yes, even Triple H. Even though props to him, WrestleMania 40 was great. Night 2 was better than Night 1. But, I think that, I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this. By we, I mean me and you guys, the viewers. There's nothing parasocial about this. Don't worry about that. Right, so let's start with Night 1. Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. This is going to be more of a vaguely one, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to go too in-depth with it because there was nothing really interesting. It was a very fast match, and it was nothing really interesting match-wise, but Rhea Ripley's entrance having, I'm just not even going to say the name of the band because I totally forget the name of the band. But Rhea making her entrance with the band is very reminiscent of actually WrestleMania 29. My favorite wrestler, I probably should have mentioned this, my favorite wrestler is CM Punk. And no, don't go, of course it's CM Punk. No, not because of AEW and WWE and all the hype. Believe it or not, I originally thought he was just an asshole. Really, I'm not kidding. I just thought he was. I liked Justin Gabriel originally. This is when I was really early on and I didn't really know who was actually top caliber wrestlers. So I liked guys like Sin Cara and Justin Gabriel. Not just that, I liked a few other wrestlers. But then, I gave CM Punk a chance and I realized that this was really meant to be, this is really a persona. And I was thinking of, I didn't really fully understand the heel and face thing, that this is mostly an act more than their real personality. But yeah, CM Punk became my favorite wrestler very fast. This was back way before he returned or debuted in AEW. This is way before AEW even started. This is around 2016. Well, in 2016 when I first started getting into WWE, I didn't like him. So I'd say like maybe later in 2016. But yes, he was still long gone. I wanted him back. Really like him. Now, where was I? Yes. It's very reminiscent of how Living Color showed up for CM Punk. Cult of Personality is a great song. Go check that out. Even though we're not like sponsored by them or anything. But you know what I mean. Great band. Underrated. Yeah, so very reminiscent of that. It was pretty cool to see. I mean, it's not even the first. It's not even like the last time they did it. They've done it plenty of times since CM Punk, but I don't know why it gave me such vibes of that. Probably because not a lot of the guys acknowledge like the performers. I mean, they do sometimes. Like Triple H didn't really. You can call me out, but obviously don't go screaming at me in the comments. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think one time when Motorhead showed up to do Triple H's theme, I think they did that once. Or it might have been DX, but they didn't acknowledge them, which, I don't know, some heels are different than others. When CM Punk made his entrance, he was a heel, and he still acknowledged the Living Color. But I mean, it's such a good song. Living Color actually being willing to show up to WWE is crazy. I mean, so is Motorhead, but But anyway, yeah, that's Becky Lynch losing, which ironically enough, spoiler alerts. If you don't want to hear what happened on the first night of Raw, if you haven't seen it yet, even though that was like a couple weeks ago, skip ahead maybe a minute or like 50 seconds. Rhea was injured by, they say she was injured by Liv Morgan. The fans, let's put it this way, the fans think Liv Morgan injured Rhea Ripley. Rhea even said that was the case, even though it's not true. I can tell it's not true. However, so she had to, the real spoiler here, which, okay, I lied. I would skip now, like maybe 30 seconds, which is Rhea had to drop her title that she'd been holding forever and was dominating WWE, just like Roman Reigns. And Becky Lynch won the title like last week. So yeah, I think that's that match. So moving on, Judgment Day versus DIY and Awesome Truth, and so pretty much, we don't really give a damn about Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. They're garbage. However, unfortunately, this is a ladder match, so that they did win, kind of. I mean, they could have succeeded. So they did. So it was a ladder match for both the Raw Tag Team Championships and the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, which are both 2 belts. So they got, I don't remember which one it was. It could have been SmackDown. Yes, I think they got the SmackDown ones. And then R-Truth and The Miz, which made this like a stellar match, because who gives a crap about Austin Theory and Grayson Waller winning that title? I didn't want them to, but the other titles, yes, you can, they can, it is indeed, you could grab both shows titles and be quote-unquote double champs, even though, you know, that's 4 belts, doesn't matter, it's still considered double champs, because, you know, they're technically 2 different titles. That just come in pairs. But the other ones ended up R-Truth and The Miz getting, because, well, I think did Grayson Waller and Austin Theory decide to not continue the match, or did they just get knocked out practically by the others? Well, anyway, R-Truth and The Miz won it. It was really awesome. R-Truth getting what he deserves. I think he deserves a great push, and they're giving him a pretty decent push right now. I think he does really great work as a heel. In fact, probably better than his face work is iconic. Everyone knows that, but I think they take him more seriously as a wrestler when he's a heel, which they haven't done in a long time. He actually gets better storylines that aren't filled with goofiness, like calling Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa of DIY Regeneration X, and calling Johnny Gargano Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels and him calling Shawn Michaels Johnny Gargano. Yeah, a little goofy, but you know, that was a good match. Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. Oh boy, I don't know what to say about this match. That right there, that is super kick city. Absolute hot garbage. Absolute hot garbage. They just kicked each other for, like, I want to say 20 minutes. And they threw each other behind. They, like, that is Samoan. I think, like, the only things they did were super kicks and their Samoan drops. Like, twice each. Well, they both did their Samoan drops, like, twice. It was the most bland match. Like, I get it. Their gimmicks is that they're, you know, they super kick a lot, but they really screwed up what could have been an incredible match. Like, even an interference could have made this good, but trust me, the main event of night 2 kind of makes up for the fact that the Usos didn't get an interference. Speaking as they show up in the main event anyway. Yeah, I don't think there's any more I need to say about this. Jay still won, but it was still the worst match on the card. Alright, so Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Naomi, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Dakota Kai. Great match. Asuka is my favorite female superstar of the modern era, next to AJ Lee. I say modern era, counting anything that was before Ruthless Aggression. AJ Lee is great. For the longest time, AJ Lee is my favorite superstar. And she might be of all time next to Asuka. It's a bit of a fight between the two. And this isn't from being, you know, this is like actual like skills, you know, what they do in the ring, their characters, and yeah. Well, okay, maybe not AJ Lee. I really like AJ Lee because I guess she's athletic and she does have that good skill, but her character is really weird, and I really think they could have done something way different. I did not like AJ Lee's character. The only time that character was even remotely interesting was when she was, you know, around CM Punk. That was pretty funny because he had better things to do. However, they're married now, so I guess that resulted in that. I mean, in real life, not in WWE. Well, technically both, but they're actually married. There's not much I can say about this match. I forget who won. I think it was the trio of Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca. Yeah, it was a pretty good one. I'd say that it was, well, great performances by everybody, good sells. I mean, not too memorable, really. It was nothing really that crazy memorable. Like, why did they suddenly team up? Then again, I don't catch a lot of the Raws because I I have a life to live, and I'm not going to catch WWE every week and stay up till midnight trying to catch up on it. I'm really not in this era. I'm sorry, Cody, and CM Punk too. I'm sorry. Really, but still, I mean, I don't know where those three how they just suddenly teamed up. It was the weirdest. It was weird. It was kind of out of the blue of a match. Rey Mysterio and Andrade versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. This match was pretty bland too. One thing I enjoyed is how Rey Mysterio was going to, well, kind of was about to recreate, the belt thing he did at WrestleMania 39, which was hitting his son with the belt, because his son's a heel right now. Funny stuff. No, YouTube. No, I'm not insinuating a child was hurt, by the way. Want to make that clear. These are both grown adults. We're good? Thank you. Thank you. Do not age restrict. Thank you. Anyway. But it was a pretty good match. A lot of my friends, when we were watching this, I did forget to mention that I was in a watch party with we were watching it together. My friends, either one or two of my friends wanted Carlito to turn heel, who was on the ring side. But the rest of us like, that is the dumbest thing ever. Carlito is not a great heel. Like, half of the reason he never took off as a wrestler the way he should have is because of he couldn't take off as a heel. I mean, yeah, he has really great moments as a heel, but he sounds like an absolute buffoon. He sounds like a child. Who's dumb. Like, I don't know. He actually seemed more, well, I guess a lot of heels are less mature because they're cowards. That's the point, but before I move any more forward with this, I'm gonna say this now. You don't need to tell me wrestling is fake if you're one of those people, because I already know. We know. We obviously it's fake. We know this. So shut your mouths in the comments. I don't need that. If you're watching on TV, good. Good, because I don't have to deal with their comments if you're planning to say something like that. Anyway, yeah, good match. I want them to do more with Carlito, though. That would be very interesting. Like, right now as well. I mean, I know he did just come back from an injury, not, like, I want to say a couple months ago, back at, like, War Games, where CM Punk returned. But, good match. You could probably tell that I don't remember what happened exactly. I can't remember every little detail of all the action that happened, like their moves and stuff that they did. Like I didn't explain the Dominic thing with Rey and Dominic thing with the belt, yeah. But that was a no DQ. That was there were DQs in that match, which is disqualifications. If he did that, he would have been disqualified, which I don't think Rey cared because this storyline is where the storyline that's around right now. Rey Mysterio is a face. He always has been. Dominic is a heel, so he's betrayed his entire family in the current storyline. So Rey couldn't care. Rey could care less. Yeah. So that's that match. Right. Night 2. Now we're getting into this. This is going to be... Yep. It's going to be great. Alright. Love this match. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. So, yeah. Went on for a little bit. Seth was already... He had just returned from a not too long ago from his knee injury. He was cleared to wrestle. Wait a minute. Now, but there's an issue, and I might have forgot to mention this match. Remember, this is like my first episode of my show. So, they had a match in night 1. Somehow I forgot to mention this match at all. But that is in all my writing. But night 1, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins took on The Rock and Roman. Seth said he would be Cody's shield. He would be there to help him out. So basically, they had a tag team match. Cody and Seth lost, unfortunately. But Seth took a bit of a beating, so his knee was already kind of janked up. So yeah. So in this match, Drew it was kind of a squash match, not really. It was a bit back and forth, and then it became kind of a squash, a little bit. Match was over. The funniest part, Drew goes over to go mock CM Punk with his fractured, forget what it was, something in his arm. What does CM Punk do? Swipes his leg down, because Drew is standing on the announcing table, because Punk was being an announcer that imagine. Punk decided, nah, you're not going to mock me. Stand on the announcing table in front of me and shoved the title in my face. Grabs him by the leg, sweeps him up. Drew hits the announcer's table. And Punk takes his brace off of his injured arm and starts hitting Drew. Right now, I'm not the biggest fan of Drew. I think he's doing great. Realistically, I think he's doing wonderfully. I do think he does deserve a title, but I feel like not before CM Punk gets one. I feel like he deserves another title reign. Maybe just as long as his old one. Maybe a little longer. I think he deserves to hold it for a good while. He's not in his prime anymore, but, I think Punk can definitely hold the title for some good time. I think he does deserve it. Anyway, to the match at hand again. Yeah, so anyway, what me and my friends wanted and kind of predicted is Damian Priest cashed in his Money in the Bank, or his Senior Money in the Bank, as he calls it. It says it on his Money in the Bank that he cashed in. He ended up, basically squashing Drew because Punk had already done enough damage that Drew was on the ground. Damian had to do literally nothing, so I really don't think Damian should hold the title for long. I don't even think he's really ready. I don't think he's necessarily ready for the title yet. Maybe give it a year, and then I can consider Damian fully ready for it. But I can see him winning it. I just can't see him holding it for more than like a week or a month. I really feel like he's the type of guy to lose it by the next pay-per-view. Meaning that next pay-per-view, he loses it after, he just won it at the last one. But, that was cool. Yeah, honestly, nothing more to say about that. Let's see here. The Pride versus the Final Testament. To be honest, I did not know the names of these two teams. Now, I didn't get to watch this because I went down for dinner and nearly had a mental breakdown trying to be able to both hear my friends in the Xbox party and watch WWE on Peacock because it was cutting out my friends on the Xbox, and I wasn't going to starve myself. So I missed this match. However, what I did see live about that match was the beginning. I did see some of it. Bubba Ray Dudley making a big return as a special guest ref was really cool. Bring out the tables, or I forget what he says. No offense. I don't remember that catchphrase well. I'd have to physically see it, but I do know of it, of course. Bubba Ray Dudley's a legend. I've seen a few of his matches. It'd be cool to see him and Devon back. So, yeah, other than that one, that's it about that one. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about that. Now, the main event Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. As he says, I need to finish the story. And so he did. Not without some major help, but Seth Rollins, the match is going, Seth Rollins, as it makes his great entrance, more like interference, midway through the match, not too soon after it started, with the Shield theme, something we haven't heard in years since the Shield separated. For those of you who don't know, the Shield consisted of Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley, who used to be Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose is no longer in WWE, but the reason that he did this is to get under Roman's skin, and also to insinuate how he said he will be Cody Rhodes' Shield. Yeah. So pretty much, Seth Rollins decides he decided to go out there in the Shield uniform and enter through the crowd, just as the Shield used to do. He immediately gets speared by Roman, because the only two that were in the ring at the time were I might be going too far into the match, but he gets speared by Roman. I guess I mentioned that one a bit too early, but before that, I guess we're going out of order with this. New to this whole show thing, even though I have a YouTube channel. Pretty much, the first part, they're fighting for a bit. Solo interferes, almost cost Cody the match. Cody kicks out. Solo's angry. John Cena makes a big return. Takes down Solo, gets back in the ring. The Rock, the final boss as they're calling him right now, makes his big entrance. He's yelling at John Cena, which in my opinion is a callback to when The Rock first returned to WWE and they shared that hug. He thought that this beef between him and John was over, but he realizes that, John is not done and he still had beef with one of his own family members. This means that him and John are not done, and that John has backstabbed him because he thought that, again, they weren't going to have to deal with that type of stuff anymore when it came to each other. But John Cena gets immediately rock bottomed. Rock is in the ring. Cody's slowly getting up. He takes his belt off because he slashes Cody in the back with it, insinuating. So I think it's kind of reminiscent because it reminds me. I think it's what they're going for with that is how Cody also has a belt. I think it's sort of a thing like that. Turns around, gong. The Undertaker shows up and chokeslams him. Funny story about that. Stone Cold Steve Austin was actually supposed to show up. Why The Undertaker was there? Stone Cold Steve Austin missed his flight. Yeah, the only reason we didn't get Steve Austin there is because he missed his flight. As if Triple H couldn't, I don't know, maybe get him a private jet or something. He's rich, right? Surprised that Steve Austin didn't get a private jet himself. I know he's like that type of, he's not that type of guy to want to own a private jet. He doesn't seem that way. And no, not just because he's Southern. It's just not a Stone Cold, it's not a Steve Austin thing to do. He's not that type of guy. I think he believes more like that, what do you call it? Kind of like Dusty Rhodes. He's sort of a common man. He likes to be, live like the common man, not be too lavish. Obviously, he's got a completely different gimmick. I'm not talking about gimmicks. I'm talking about real life with that. But yeah, it's both comedic and very sad and slightly annoying that for a match this high caliber and whatnot, and for such a big return that they couldn't try to get him over here in time by sending him another plane to fly him over or something like that. But yeah, that's unfortunate. Well, friends, I think this is where We call it. So, I will see you in the next one. Peace out.